like you to talk about particularly is going down into the desert. And you guys settle because we'll jerk the picture
Hold
around.
your mic down a little bit.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were just wondering what the batteries were for this camera for.
The batteries are in the gray case.
Around Sedona, and I painted there many times. And it's a beautiful spot. Then we were down around Mesa, and I really love to paint the desert. The light there is so beautiful too. So I always go out and paint, and he puts up the awning and sits under it and has a cool drink, and I'm out there boiling in the sun with my snake boots on, which are a pair of boots that my daughter assured me I'd never be able to get another one just like it. So I bought the boots, but I didn't wear them for about 3 years, and he kept nagging me about it. So finally I said, okay, I'm going to wear them. So out in the desert I did. So they become my snake boots.
Well, you should tell them about the time that you did have snakes up your pant leg.
Oh,
I painted outside so much and so many experiences, I don't know. But one time I was painting, and I was right on the edge of the tarmac, and then there was the grass and dirt on the side. So I painted away, and pretty soon the grass got tickling my leg, and I'd shake my leg, and then I didn't want to stop painting, and I was so interested in what I was doing. But no, and there it was again, and I'd shake my leg. Well, anyway, I finally looked down, and there was the end of a little snake's tail hanging out from below my pants. This little thing had gone up to just about my knee. I don't know whether he's and poisonous or not, but I shook my leg, and off went the snake in one direction and me in the other.
Now tell me, Bill, you say you stay in radio contact with Dorothy when you take her out. You like to paint on location, don't you, Dorothy?
Yes, I do. That's my favorite. I'm a plein air painter. Well, in Sedona, he would take me down, and I would paint, and then he would go back to the motorhome or do something else. But anyway, he always had this thing with him, and I had one like it.
Well, this is the one that she had out in the sticks. I'd take it out there, and then I would tune in on the motorhome, the same channel, and we could communicate back and forth. And she had so much stuff, and it was so far out and away from the motorhome that when she'd finish painting or get hungry or something, why, she'd contact me on the CB, and it was also sort of a safety net. I thought that if she needed some help, why, all she had to do was yell.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have to use it for an emergency?
Not an emergency, but I did one time in Sedona, and I saw some man who kept kind of hanging around a little bit over along the river, and I thought, well, I just maybe better just leave or something. And then I would call him, and I would say, Hard Rock, this is Bluebird. I felt a little silly over all that, but anyway, that's the way we communicated. He's Hard Rock, and I'm Bluebird.
Well, why don't we talk a little about when you and Bill decided that you'd like to put aside some art for your children?
Yes. Well, I just said to everybody, well, you know, when I'm gone, I want all my grandchildren to at least have a painting. And so then, after I decided all that, I got to thinking, well, I don't know why I just don't do it myself, because I didn't want it to end under the bed, because they didn't have enough money to buy a frame or something. So then I decided to when they got married, I would do it. You know, they didn't really get married, the other one. I have two of them that I have given paintings to. Mm-hmm. And the way I do it is I give them about 10 paintings or 12 to choose from. And then they have a terrible time. They can't sleep nights because they can't think which one they want.
Wasn't there one that Bill really liked and he didn't want you to let
Oh,
go?
it was my grandson, and I put all of these paintings out. And so when we went to bed that night, he said, "Oh, he said that's the best painting you have ever painted. You just can't give that away." And I can do another one. No, that's the very best one. So he didn't sleep all night. And I didn't either because he worried me so. And my grandson and his wife got up in the morning and they said, we didn't sleep a wink last night. Not a wink. And I said, well, did you make a decision? Yes, they said, we finally did. They just had it, but they hadn't slept at all. So it's kind of a disturbing way of doing it, I think.
So did they end up picking the one that Bill liked?
Oh yes, they picked that one. He still swore it was the best one I've ever done.
I was wondering if you could talk a little about the time when you decided to study some meditation technique.
Oh yes,
and talk about how it changed your way of painting for a while.
Well, I was taking meditation and I'd been doing this for quite some time. And then I thought, well, I can't see any reason why I can't I couldn't use it in painting. So I was always going outside to paint. I'd gone over here to Point Lobos, and I would put up my easel and put up the board, and then I would stand and I would meditate. And then when I was through meditating, then I would go into painting. And when I did, then I came up with the painting that you see over there, Satnam. And I did several paintings that were in that vein. I think I should do it some more. So
I understand that the painting you're referring to is what is it, Satnam?
a Satnam.
A woman really has been wanting to have that.
Oh yes, she said. Now anytime that you want to sell that, she said just put it in the mail, mail it to me. So far I haven't. My family keeps wanting me to keep it.
What is art, Dorothy?
I really, you mean what does art mean to me, or?
Yeah, what does art mean to you?
All I know is about art is that I can't do without it. I need to paint, and it gives me an outlet. It fulfills something in me that I can't. If I didn't have it, I don't know what I would do. But that might not sound very professional, but I think in most people they do have this feeling that they have to paint.
And I know you paint a lot. You paint.
I paint every day, and sometimes at night, and sometimes just any time. And if I'm away from it, like if I travel or something and I'm away for any length of time, then I get nervous and I feel like I have to paint.
You had mentioned that one of the reasons why you'll just paint over and over on something is because you want to get better.
That's right. I always feel that I should be able to do it better. I'm always sure that the next time I'm going to do it. It's perfect. And so then you're disappointed sometimes, but then the thing to do is keep going back and working on it until you get what you want.
Now, just recently you had, I think it's just a wonderful story about you and Michael taking that intensive workshop for a week.
Yes, they were always saying to me, oh, I wish I could paint. I wish I could paint. Well, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Well, Kathleen, or Michael, she doesn't, she's never too busy to do what she really wants to do, I think. And so when I was back there on a visit not long ago, and I said, well, I've been thinking about it, and I think that I'm not getting any younger, so if you want to learn something, you better do it someday, very soon. Well, then I came home, and she called me up. She said, you know, I might be silly. You might think I'm very silly, but she said, I have decided that I'm going to come out and take that workshop you offered. And I had told her that I would give her a workshop, and it would last, well, as long as she'd give me. A week was what she could do. And she said she could come out for a week, her husband would take care of the children, and she was going to drop everything. And she's a very busy person because she works in films. And that's what she did. She dropped everything, and then we took a week, and she did this workshop. It was really fascinating. It really taught me something too, because it made me more centered or concentrated on what I was doing, without feeling that I was, well, and I certainly wasn't wasting my time.
I know that you had said in an earlier interview that you'd see all these wonderful artists that for some reason or another didn't have an apprentice, didn't teach, and then they would pass on, and their technique, their particular art form wasn't going to be able to continue.
Yes, and I think that's sad too, because they now some of our really great ones, like, you know, they've been doing these things for years, but there's many artists who haven't been teachers, who have you wouldn't know how they worked.
So that really pleased you that Michael has taken this time.
Yes, it certainly did. And she's so excited about it. Oh my, she can't,
I know when we were here, she said she dreamt art.
Yeah, she was dreaming it and everything else. Now she's trying to get away from her children enough so she can do it, but
I love the story when you went to visit her and you were getting so antsy that you started sketching and you sketched her toilet.
yes. She had a very fascinating toilet too, I might add. I said, see, look at this, you can sketch your toilet. Isn't that pretty?
Well, if I was a young person, Dorothy, and you know, I came to you and I said, oh gosh, Dorothy, I really want to be an artist, but my mom and dad think I'm crazy, what would you say to me?
I would say, you know, you should follow your heart. Do what you really feel like you must do, because they don't know. They did what they wanted, and it's what we've always told our children, that they should do, you know, what is important to them. And the direction they've taken many times has, you know, been hard to follow for a while, but they ended up, you know, very well. So I think it's most important that to be dedicated and to do what you feel is important. And it isn't easy. It isn't easy for a man to raise a family, say, and be an artist. I realize that. But we do have some very successful men who do that. And I've always wondered about that. I've always wondered about this, when they're so successful that way. How they, well, a lot of sacrifice, I think. You see, I'm not a very fast painter.
Oh no, it's beautiful. You know what I wanted to ask you about was when we looked at your sketches, your trip to China.
Oh yeah.
You had said that there are just so many people.
Yes.
That you had to just sketch little scenes.
Yeah, the minute you started to sketch, they would appear, you know, and here you have all these people.
So the current piece of work that you're doing on China is a combination of a lot of those sketches, is that?
They're sketches, yeah. And even so, we were on a boat on the Lee River, and I hadn't gone out that day, and I was just going to sketch, and I was going to be real quiet and sit around and sketch, and so I went out on deck and was doing it. Turn around, and here's all the crew on the boat is out there, and they said, but I was just doing, you know, like people, and I liked the old way that the Chinese looked, you know. And they said, well, we have these modern places. Well, why do you do those? And I kept trying to tell them it was because I thought that was beautiful. Brushes are very important, but if you don't have much money, just use any old brush. You can do it. And one thing that has always been an idea with me, or a pet idea, or I don't know what you would call it, is I've always been so fascinated watching young children when they first start to draw, and that's one of the first things that they do, you know. And they do these wonderful, wonderful things that are so relaxed and so nice and sometimes amusing, but they're really pretty. And then they'll do that for a long time. Then pretty soon they go to school, and I don't know whether it's the teacher or who it is, but somebody will teach them how to paint, you know. They'll have their little arms and legs and everything they're supposed to have, and up to that point they didn't even know that they had to have that, you know. They might have their arms coming out of their ears or something like that. And I always wondered what would happen if you could take a child and not inhibit it when it went to school like that, and then they wouldn't have to go through all this phase of learning how everything goes the way they do, and then have to unlearn it when they decide they're going to be an artist. And that's exactly what happens. Because it's the childlike way of seeing things that has made so many artists famous.
Yeah, it was because it took him a lifetime to learn how to paint like a child.
Yes. But it would be a wonderful thing to see because I don't think they pay enough attention to the beautiful things that children really do. I always keep my grandchildren little paintings and
I'm worried about some questions or parents. Go back to just ask the first question. No,
Well, I definitely want to get when she was a young person.
okay. Yeah, I think we're having sound problems.
Was that, were we having a problem with that?
Keep rolling.
Are we rolling now?
Yeah, we're still rolling.
Okay, you know, Dorothy, we may have had a sound problem over the time you're talking about when you were a young student, and you had that teacher that,
oh yeah.
could you tell that story again, just in case we didn't get it?
Well, I've always
No,
Oh, wait, we're not ready. Oh, they're not ready yet, Dorothy, excuse me.
you okay?
Can I hear it?
It's just the thing right here.
Oh, okay.
No wait. You won't hear
We'll
me.
wait for Marie. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Okay, why don't you, could you begin again, Dorothy, and just tell that story
well,
again?
ever since I was very small, well, ever since I can remember, they always said Dorothy's going to be a great artist. Why? She has the right kind of hands, and she's always drawing and going on, even when I was very small. So, that was the thing I really wanted to do. And so I was always sketching and going on. And when I'd go to school, I would do the same thing. Well, some of the teachers would think, well, I wasn't getting my work done. And then one day I was sketching away, and I had learned to hide it a little bit, what I was doing. And there was a teacher, and she said, oh, that was very nice, and everything. And she says, well, do you have your work done? And oh, yes, I did. And, well, she said, I'll tell you, she said, any time that you wanted to draw, sketch like that, well, she said, you can do it, and and just so you have your work done. So I would hurry up and get the work done so I could sketch. And all year she did that for me, and I thought she was such a wonderful woman to be so understanding. And there were art things. There was one other boy I remember, and he did cartoon-like things. So we got to do all of the artwork around the school, and it's just fun. I loved it.
So would you say that she really inspired you?
Oh yes, I would, because she was doing something that she understood, that it was important, and she didn't say, well, you can't do it. I didn't have to hide it anymore. I think that was wonderful. Little bits of color, little jewel-like colors, make anything just sing. And if you have something white, you put something dark alongside of it. See how something happens around these areas.
Can you get a close-up of that, Eric?
Where?
Right over to the far right.
Dorothy, could you point to
Yeah.
where that you were describing?
I was just saying the little, where you get the white, and then you put a little zinging color right in there. See how pretty that turns out.